Welcome to The Synthetic Voice, the podcast that decodes the complexities of our modern world. I'm your host, Emily.
And I'm John. It's great to be with all you.
Today, we're tackling a feeling that I think is incredibly common, almost universal for our generation.
Right. It's that nagging sense that no matter how hard you work or even when you get a raise, you still feel, well, broke.
Exactly. You look at your paycheck, you look at your bills, and you wonder, where does it all go? You're employed, you're responsible, but financial security feels like it's miles away.
It's a frustrating paradox. And today we're going to unpack why so many of us feel this way. It's not just in your head, and it's definitely not just you.
So, where do we start? I think the most obvious monster in the room is inflation.
Absolutely. It's the silent thief of our income. For anyone who needs a quick refresher, inflation is basically the rate at which the general level of goods and services is rising, and subsequently purchasing power is falling.
In simple terms, your dollar just doesn't stretch as far as it used to. I mean, think about it. The cost of groceries has skyrocketed. A trip to the supermarket that used to cost $50 now easily tops 80 or 100 for the same items.
And it's not just food, it's gas for your car, your rent or mortgage payment, your electricity bill. Everything seems to be climbing, but for many people, their wages aren't keeping up at the same pace.
Right. So even if you get a 3% raise, but inflation is running at 5 or 6%, you've actually taken a pay cut in real terms. You're going backwards without even moving.
That's the core of the problem. You're running faster on the hamster wheel just to stay in the same place. It creates this constant pressure, this feeling that you're falling behind even when you're doing everything right. But it's not all external forces like inflation, right? There's a more subtle internal factor at play too, something often called lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation.
Ah, yes, the golden handcuffs. This one is so sneaky because it feels like progress.
Exactly. Can you break it down for our listeners?
Of course, lifestyle creep is the phenomenon where your spending increases as your income grows. You get a promotion and a raise, so you think, great, I can finally afford that bigger apartment, or I deserve a newer car.
And on the surface, that makes perfect sense. You're earning more, so you should be able to enjoy a better quality of life.
Totally. But the problem is that these new expenses become your new baseline. That bigger rent payment is now a fixed cost. That new car payment is a monthly obligation. So, despite earning more money, your capacity to save or invest hasn't actually changed. You're just spending more.
You've upgraded your lifestyle, but not your financial health. It's why someone earning 100,000 a year can feel just as broke as they did when they were earning 50,000. Their financial cushion hasn't grown.
It's a trap, and it's so easy to fall into because each individual decision feels justified. A nicer dinner out, a new subscription service, a better gym membership, they all add up.
And suddenly you're back to living paycheck to paycheck, just with nicer stuff. It's a really tough cycle to break.
Speaking of tough cycles, let's talk about the anchor that so many people are dragging behind them from day one: debt, particularly student loans.
Right. This is a huge one. For millions of people, a significant portion of their income is already spoken for before they even have a chance to decide what to do with it.
It's like starting a race 100 meters behind the starting line. You graduate, you land that first job, and you're immediately funneling hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars a month just to service the debt you took on to get that job in the first place.
And the psychological weight of that is immense. It delays major life milestones like buying a home, starting a family, or even just feeling like you can take a risk in your career.
Exactly. And it's not just student loans. You add on a car loan, maybe some credit card debt that piled up when you were just trying to make ends meet. And suddenly, a huge chunk of your salary is just going towards paying for the past, not building for the future. It's incredibly difficult to get ahead when you're constantly playing catch up with interest payments.
It really highlights how the system is set up. You need the education to get the job, you often need the car to get to the job, but the cost of both can keep you financially tethered for decades. And that brings us to another powerful, though less tangible factor: societal pressure, the constant comparison game.
Oh, this one has gotten so much more intense in the age of social media. It used to be keeping up with the Joneses next door. Now it's keeping up with the entire world on Instagram.
Right? You're constantly bombarded with images of people on lavish vacations, buying new homes, wearing designer clothes. It's a highlight reel of consumption.
And it's almost impossible not to internalize that. You start to feel like you're failing if your life doesn't look like that. It creates a pressure to spend money on things that project an image of success, even if it's financially ruinous.
That's so true. There's this unspoken timeline of what you should have by a certain age. A degree by 22, a great job by 25, home ownership by 30.
Yeah, the shoulds.
And when your reality doesn't match up, it can create a lot of anxiety and a feeling of inadequacy, which can lead to poor financial decisions in an attempt to bridge that gap.
It's a vicious cycle. You feel bad, so you spend to feel better or to look better, which then puts you in a worse financial position, making you feel even more stressed. Breaking free from that comparison mindset is a huge part of finding financial peace.
Okay, so we've painted a pretty bleak picture here. We've got inflation eating our paychecks, lifestyle creep keeping us stuck, debt weighing us down, and social media making us feel inadequate.
Right. It sounds overwhelming, but the good news is we're not powerless. There are concrete steps we can take to regain a sense of control. So let's shift gears and talk about some actionable advice.
I like it. Where should we start?
I think the foundational step, the one no one wants to do but everyone needs to, is creating a budget. And I don't mean a super restrictive, you can't buy coffee ever again kind of budget.
Right. It's not about punishment, it's about awareness.
Exactly. It's simply about knowing where your money is actually going. You can use an app, a spreadsheet, or even a notebook. Track your spending for a month without judgment. The goal is just to get a clear picture. You can't fix a leak if you don't know where it is.
That's a great first step. Once you have that awareness, my number one tip is to automate your savings. Pay yourself first.
Yes, this is a game changer.
The moment your paycheck hits your account, have an automatic transfer set up to move a certain amount, even if it's just $20 or $50 a start, into a separate savings or investment account.
That way, you save money before you even have the chance to spend it. You treat your savings like a bill that has to be paid.
Precisely, you remove willpower from the equation.
Okay, so we have awareness through budgeting and consistency through automation. What's next? I think it's about being more intentional with the money that's left. I like to call it conscious spending.
I like that. What does it involve?
It's about taking a moment to differentiate between your needs, your wants, and what I'd call pressured wants, the things you buy because of external influence. It's perfectly okay to spend money on things that bring you genuine joy.
Right, the goal isn't to live a life of total austerity.
Not at all. The goal is to align your spending with your values. If travel is your passion, maybe you cut back on eating out so you can save for a trip. It's about making deliberate choices instead of mindless purchases.
That makes a lot of sense. And a practical little trick I use to help with that is the 24-hour rule.
Oh, I love this one. Tell our listeners about it.
It's simple. If you want to buy a non-essential item over a certain price, say $50 or $100, you put it in your online cart or make a note of it, and you wait 24 hours. After that time, if you still genuinely want it and it fits your budget, go for it. But you'd be amazed how often that initial impulse fades. It helps you separate a fleeting want from a true desire.
That is such a powerful and easy to implement tip. So, to recap, track your spending to gain awareness, automate your savings to be consistent, practice conscious spending to align with your values, and use a cooling off period to curb impulse buys.
It's not a magic bullet, but those four things can create a massive shift in your financial reality, and more importantly, your sense of control. But, Emily, we've talked a lot about managing the money you have. What about the other side of the equation? Actually increasing your income?
Absolutely. It's about understanding that while there are huge external forces at play, our small, consistent actions can build a strong foundation for financial security. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about building resilience one step at a time.
Well said, Emily. It's about being kind to yourself, recognizing the challenges, and focusing on what you can control.
Exactly. And that's all the time we have for today on The Synthetic Voice. Thank you so much for joining us.
We hope this conversation was helpful. Join us next time as we continue to explore the world around us. Take care.